Okay, so let's go to the field.
Hello, everybody. I'm delighted to be there with you today to present how Dassault Systèmes is leveraging AI for the industry and for the generative economy. Let's put that in context first. The experience economy and the circular economy are converging into what we call the generative economy, and of course, pun intended. The first step to us was to transform from a product economy to an experience economy. Today, we don't design a product for itself. We design a product for the experience we have with it. Now, the generative economy represents a new era, resulting from the imperative of the sustainability challenges that humanity faces, and the experience economy where usage, impacts, and consequences of products and services are to be thought well in advance. By anticipating the many lives of things, their second-hand, third-hand usages, their repurposing and virtuous recycling in the industry's value chains, we aim at catalyzing a new kind of economy, respectful of the planet, with both footprint and handprint as key values. And we believe this is where data and AI can play a real role, because industry has this footprint and handprint ambition. Industry can be the solution to sustainability if it moves beyond mechanisms of past centuries to generate rather than consume. Virtualization is not digitization of what already exists. On the contrary, its greatest power is to model possible worlds, make better choices, and collaborate before springing into action. And big data and AI are going to play a key role there. This is why we believe in a renaissance of the industry with modeling, simulation, and AI. We therefore aim at providing our customers with the means for them to create their own sustainable universes answering these challenges. What are universes? To us, they are leveraging the power of the virtual to anticipate and improve the real. We call them 3DS universes. Our approach consists in observing and experimenting the world, what you see on the right side, learning from those experimentation, observation, revealing real-world evidences from the diversity and the data multimodality. And then, on the other side, represent those data, elevating them through world abstractions and multi-scale, multidiscipline modeling and simulation. So on one side, observation of the world, on the other side, representation of the world. We are strong believers in the representation science. This is how we want to use modeling, simulation, and AI for. And ultimately, we want them to provide understanding schemas of the world, and what better than a model or a twin to do so. We want them, of course, to help us reason and explore possible worlds, and we want them, of course, to act on reality. And today, with the agency wave, it's very important. What are the key values of the solution we are providing? First and foremost, we believe AI is for people. There's a lot of debate about AI replacing people. We don't believe in that. We believe in a collaboration, very tight collaboration between real professionals and what we will call virtual professionals or agents. And so upskilling people is absolutely paramount. Generative virtual twin experiences are upskilling and empowering the workforce of the future, providing means for people career grading, augmented proficiency, thanks to the power of data and experience to elevate roles. I have two illustrations to show you that, and let me comment them first. Let's start the first video. So in this first example, we are going to see how modeling, simulation, and AI are dramatically changing the role of professionals like here designers. Let's take this motorcycle example and this central part that you see here. A usual current process is that the designer is taking some time to manually design interactively the part in conformance and compliance with a set of requirements. Today, with generative technologies, the designer no longer does it interactively, manually. He is assisted by a generation environment where the part is automatically generated in compliance and conformance with the requirement. And so, of course, there is dramatic performance and productivity enhancements, but also an assurance, a trust that the resulting part is really fitting the requirement, like here, durability and finite element analysis. But that's not the whole part of the story. If generative environment, generative technologies, are able to generate one good solution, one good conformant or compliant part, then it can also generate a whole set of parts, which is a solution space by itself. And so in the end, the designer doesn't spend time to, let's say, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to design a part looking for a right solution. He immediately has a variety of good solutions. And what he does, he explores that solution space. So he has been changing from a designer to, let's say, a solution collection director. And so his ability, he's climbing the ladder in terms of responsibility. And this is what AI is providing. The second example provides the same kind of value and message, but at the organization level. Let's look here, a car manufacturer, and we see here 9 examples of cars. Now, for some reason, because of people leaving the company, retiring, because of spin-offs of the company, the knowledge and know-how that led to those cars has been disappearing in the company. It has become tacit in some people's head, but not in the system. With AI, we are able to analyze, to observe those cars, and understand how they are done without any additional knowledge. So we compare their form, we compare their position in the assemblies, we compare their function, we compare even their requirements, and basically we find similarities. Similarities in shape, similarities again in function, similarities in configuration. And in the end, what the AI is able to understand is like a meta-model representing those 9 cars. But in effect, what the AI is revealing is the implicit organic structure of those cars, as you see here, chassis, powertrain, interior. Now, once the AI has this, we can automate a very important process, for example, a carryover, which is a process where we initiate a new concept car. Either by saying, okay, copy the nominal way of, let's say, the common properties of all those cars to initiate a new car. Or it can even create a new object, which is a template, which encapsulates knowledge and know-how. What you see here as an example is the chassis with the axle, the brakes, and the wheel. The AI understands that they're all connected, and he can, in fact, automatically instantiate, let's say, a bootstrapping model so that the designer can continue after that to refine, redesign, and create a new concept car. So again, elevation of knowledge and know-how, revealing of how the know-how was executed and was processed previously. So as a conclusion, from technicians to engineers to business deciders, eliciting and revealing strategy knowledge and know-how and making organization available and knowledgeable with their intangible asset and IP. This is the first purpose to us, the first value of AI and data. Beyond that, we believe that generative technologies, not limited to AI, but also encompassing modeling and simulation and collaboration, are key pillars and enablers to elevate an organization or a company patrimony, culture, knowledge, and know-how. Our engines elevate gigantic data from observation and experimentation into models and representation. You see them on this slide on 4, let's say, key pillars. On the product sector, of course, manufacturing. On the life science sector, with all data coming from the living, from the biology, the medical devices. On the planet, the environment, the utility, the transportation, but also for the organizations and themselves. So we believe that our customer, by using our platform and elevating the data to those virtual twins knowledge and know-how, are connecting the dots, structuring all the data into information, giving context and meaning to them, and ultimately revealing the entire company knowledge and know-how, and making it shareable, leverageable, experienceable to the rest of the stakeholders. This is what we call the data knowledge know-how pyramid. To us, an AI that only consumes data to produce data is nice, but that's not the ultimate goal. We want our solution to always take data and elevate them as a new patrimony. This is Dassault Systèmes' ambition. Maximize the value and potential of virtualization for industry, businesses, and people knowledge and know-how with virtual twin experiences. Now, if we zoom in into some illustrations of what we do. Let's see 4 examples of what we mean by that. Those examples are not all available publicly yet, but they will be very soon. There is 1 example in manufacturing, 1 in infrastructure and territories, and 2 at the, let's say, frontier between life science and healthcare and manufacturing. And you will see as value how we use, again, modeling, simulation, and AI in an unbreakable way to do many things. To use the diversity of data to create unmatched models, to use virtual experiences to explore what was not totally reachable with a pure level of data, and we use also the power of data to create new business models. So let's run the first video with manufacturing.
Hello, how can I help you?
Show me 40 to 44 centimeter bike handlebar models made from natural or recycled materials.
Here are 3D models in your patrimony according to your description. In fact, bamboo, cork, and wood are the natural materials usually used for handlebars. However, the most common recycled materials used are recycled aluminum, plastic, composites, and steel.
Let's go with this one. Now show me 13 to 16 centimeter saddle models made from natural materials.
Leather, cork, organic cotton, and hemp materials are usually used for saddle. You will find here saddle 3D models in your patrimony according to your description.
Keep this one. Show me lithium bike batteries with 400 to 600 watt-hour capacity.
Here they are.
Thanks, I keep this model. Generate me electric bike assemblies including the selected 3D models.
Yes, let's launch the CAD assembly generation.
Good. Keep only the electric bikes with a maximum weight of 15 kilograms.
Here they are.
The first one looks good. Expand it.
Yes, of course.
Picasso's artwork on the bull's head inspires me a lot. I would love to use it to create my own handlebar.
Do you have this artwork in mind?
Yes.
Here is what it would be like in a handlebar.
Not exactly what I have in mind. Let me sketch it.
Here is the natural sketch application. Could you make a 2D sketch?
Here is my sketch. Generate handlebar 3D models while considering previous requirements.
Let's launch the automated CAD generation.
The first one looks good. Show me the whole bike assembly including such a model.
Here it is.
How heavy is the bike?
15 kilograms.
Let's go back to the handlebar. We need to reduce the weight of this model while keeping the same physical performance.
Let's launch the real-time structure regeneration.
Propose alternative regeneration which preserves the original shape.
The multi-scale structure regeneration is well suited for this kind of problem.
Show me the inside.
Here it is.
How much weight did we gain?
150 grams.
Nice. Let's see the whole bike assembly.
So with this first video, what we've seen is basically we have a sparring partner with CATIA. CATIA is not anymore, let's say, a solution that a user uses and which is only reacts when basically you use the functions. It is becoming a virtual collaborator and provide a narrative and a direct interaction in the creation process. And this does not only apply in manufacturing industries, this will also apply in infrastructure. Let's run the second demonstration.
Paul and Sophie bought a new house in Toulon. Purchase included the house's digital twin that they can now use to plan the house's remodeling. The original layout, the flooring, and some wall coverings are really outdated. Paul and Sophie asked the AI assistant to suggest a more modern layout. They can iterate through the AI suggestions and try them directly on their house's twin. Then, they can start looking online for ideas to furnish it. They gather inspirations into a mood board in Home by Me and try out some furnishings in the house's digital twin. They can also share this digital twin with their relatives to ask for their feedback and contributions. Paul's mother discovers the digital twin, but knows it would be too tiring for her to go sleep upstairs. She directly specifies her needs to the AI assistant so that the office downstairs can be used as a bedroom. Proposed prompt engineering frameworks allows to make results explainable and creative. Elizabeth also asks the AI to displace the furniture to improve the room's circulation and to change the atmosphere to something lighter, with results she can immediately visualize in 3D. Large language models can reason about any text, allowing for both user accessibility and interoperability with Dassault Systèmes' science-based components. Paul and Sophie's friend Salma offers to look for ideas on how to arrange the bathroom upstairs. Salma starts by searching through existing Home by Me projects with textual inputs. This provides a new kind of experience to navigate the complexity of the Home by Me patrimony. Finally, Salma uploads a picture of a Moroccan-style bathroom for which she would like to find a similar project in the database. The Magic Furnish algorithm then maps the furnishing into Paul and Sophie's bathroom and displays the resulting layout. Paul and Sophie's friend Jack also has an idea for the mezzanine. He has a small but comfy reading room at his place, which would be perfect here. He scans it using his LiDAR-equipped phone. An online detection module runs on-device to detect objects during the scan. The closest objects from the Home by Me catalog are then retrieved using the detections. A digital twin of the room is created, and Jack can then use the Magic Furnish command to import it into Paul and Sophie's mezzanine. Furnishing a room becomes child's play. Paul and Sophie's daughter Lucy makes a Lego model of the bedroom of her dreams. From a single picture of this masterpiece, a generative AI pipeline will produce several room inspirations to choose from. User inputs can be tweaked to generate several viewpoints and inspirations, matching the provided layout. After selecting well run, another AI automatically furnishes the room accordingly. Thanks to everyone's contribution, the house's digital twin is fully furnished.
So as we've seen here, again, another example of a sparring partner, and you've seen the tremendous importance of multimodality and big data, because here the user was fetching pictures, videos, LiDAR, even Legos to generate the virtual model of the apartment experience. Let's switch to life science. Life science is facing huge transformation, and you will see that with data, we are elevating all the clinical signals, all the clinical endpoints, all the clinical observation onto new levels, creating virtual cohorts, virtual patients, and helping decide in the process of the clinical trial. Let's run the final video.
The field of immuno-oncology has witnessed remarkable advancements with the development of revolutionary T-cell therapies. CAR T-cell therapy has especially emerged as an innovative treatment using a patient's own immune system to fight cancer. Despite the promise and growth of CAR T-cells, its clinical development and market adoption have been impacted by limited access to treatment and safety concerns. Dassault Systèmes saw the potential to improve clinical outcomes for patients in this challenging area. The Metadata Rave platform captures the world's largest database comprising more than 50 T-cell therapy trials across more than 5,000 patients, including more than 1,000 patients in lymphoma trials alone. By leveraging historical data, our patented AI-based methodology models the key clinical events of the disease course. Multi-state modeling allows a better understanding of the disease evolution. From an empowered library of interpretable models, CAR T researchers can refine the eligibility criteria for a trial that's the right fit. This is all done by extracting the patient profiles impacting the model predictions using a patented AI interpretability algorithm to design better and safer trials. Due to the nature of CAR T cells as living drugs, they come with unique complications. Common immune-mediated side effects include prolonged cytopenia and toxicities, namely cytokine release syndrome, also known as CRS, which is a systemic inflammatory response, and a neurotoxicity syndrome, also known as ICANS. Currently, there are no reliable biomarkers for predicting CRS or ICANS, which may lead to organ failure or death. Aggregated clinical, data-driven analytics can provide the expected risk of adverse events like CRS for the specific patient subgroup in mind. This risk stratification can enable early identification and improved management of CAR T therapies associated adverse events, thus paving the way for increased access through non-specialized cancer centers and resulting in wider adoption. Patients, physicians, researchers, hospitals, and developers can be equipped with earlier physiological and data-driven assessments to predict risk and help triage patients accordingly. A future to work towards is being able to provide real-time patient monitoring. Continuing to integrate the holistic view of the patient can optimize treatment plans for those with a highly personalized medicine approach.
So you've seen with those examples how we are walking the talk, always using AI with modeling and simulation at once. We believe that the platform that we are providing the portfolio is going to be at the same time with functionalities, but at the same time with data-driven, AI-driven, empowered roles and virtual collaborators' capacity. In addition to verticalized general AI, the added value for industries and sectors, our platform also offers a global collaborative environment, data-centric for knowledge and know-how, with dedicated roles and apps for AI and machine learning development. So that's more, let's say, for the IT or for the machine learning savvy people. From data engineer to data steward to data scientist, enabling a true data opportunity, circularity, and elevation. Because in the end, taking a data from the observed world, making it available with an anonymity or not, elevated through a model, and giving that model back to the community so that they can create new experiences is exactly what a data circularity and a patrimony circularity is about. Lastly, I would like to end with the cloud and the scientific universe dimension. I've talked about the platform, and you've seen many examples of what we do with modeling, simulation, and AI for the industry. Of course, all this has to be on the cloud for data, let's say, mutualization, but also with a sovereignty dimension. And again, that's so key when we talk about data privacy. Outscale is our cloud solution. It has been the first national cloud with the highest labeling and certification in terms of cybersecurity, also for health data labelization, HDS, in France. And we are developing a whole ecosystem of partnership for startups, SMBs, big companies, leveraging the power of compute, of cloud elasticity to do AI. And as you maybe have seen, I'm very happy to mention that, for example, Mistral, you know, the famous French large language model provider, has signed a very strategic alliance with Dassault Systèmes on the basis of Outscale. And to finish, because AI is such an effervescent and emerging field right now, of course, we are working hand in hand with a lot of academia, universities, research lab to create new assets, to create new data sets, but also to create new technologies. And you can see here some example of what we do, many publications, many patents, but also many strategic alliances, relationship. I cannot resist but mention one, for example, in the domain of life sciences, where we participate with the OpenFold consortium, an open solution to do molecule conformation in 3D. Many of you have heard about DeepMind AlphaFold, which was a more or less closed model. Here it's an open model that we are contributing to. And this will multiply in every sector that we serve. So in a nutshell, what we do, we believe data is key because our ambition is to improve the real world, so we need to start from the observation of the real world. It is about the generative economy, so it's directed with a very clear ambition and purpose. And this is why, by the way, a lot of youngsters are joining us in that journey. And the last message is that we don't believe AI for the sake of AI exists with relevancy. It's always an unbreakable view with modeling and simulation, because in the end, what we mean to do is to elevate the empowerment of professionals, of business and people with knowledge and know-how. Thank you very much.
Okay, so that's very interesting, but maybe a little far from our previous thinking, but I think that having that at the end, not completely at the end, because we still have something to do, and
maybe I can connect.
Yes, you can connect, yes, okay.
That works? No? Thank you, Claude. So, you've heard it at Dassault Systèmes. What we do is virtual twins for the real world. And essentially, we do have a responsibility in aerospace and defense, because if it flies, it has been designed, manufactured, simulated, or operated with our solutions. So we bear a great responsibility in aerospace and defense. And over 40 years of work in that domain, we were born as an offspring, of course, of Dassault Aviation, but over 40 years of cooperations with the major OEMs, Dassault Aviation, but as well Airbus, Lockheed Martin, and many others. We have developed a portfolio of solutions that cover more than 115 processes, and where AI is actually embedded in all of these solutions. And maybe just to clarify a little bit what Dassault Systèmes is doing in the world of aerospace and defense, let's have a quick look on how to build an aircraft in less than 3 minutes. Actually, in order to do that, we leverage what we call our platform, or AI-powered platform, called the 3D Experience Platform, which is able, first, to be a collaborative platform where you can actually aggregate all the results of meeting, all the type of data, whether this is structured data or non-structured data, program management timelines, everything like that. You can as well incorporate all the data related to your program, whether this is the weight, the balance, the cost, the progress of the different change management issues. And as you are starting on the way of your program, you need, of course, to design the system architecture, the first concept of your aircraft. And here you see the functional mock-up of the aircraft being designed, the specific functions being allocated to parts of the aircraft, the first preliminary design that you see, the space allocations for the different functions. And as we are progressing toward the virtual twin of the aircraft, we also progress on the virtual twin of the factory, doing the first studies. And as much as we progress into the design of the aircraft, of course, the solutions that we provide are becoming more and more complex. We are providing, for example, solutions where we do electrical architecture, like you can see on the screen, but more complex as well tools for airflow simulation into the cabin. Of course, that platform is always a product lifecycle management platform, where you see through time the evolution of the aircraft and the management in check of the different modules as the design is progressing. And as the design is progressing, of course, we are moving toward validation. And here you see some of the simulation software, because the platform is also a simulation platform for vibroacoustic, for CSFD, for stress. And not only we simulate the physical effect on an aircraft, but as well we simulate the different manufacturing process. So whether we are talking about composite manufacturing, whether we are talking about MRAM management, whether we are talking about 3D printing, of course, we use these virtual universes to demonstrate the actual feasibility of a specific process. So we are almost to the end, I would say, of the 3-minute speech, where we have that aircraft being assembled into the final assembly line, and where we can see that we leverage the virtual twin of the factory to schedule the task automatically with AI or without AI or manually. We can deliver then the aircraft to the customer, reviewing the different configurations and options. But the story doesn't stop there. And where we leverage AI is actually when we have specific virtual twins in operations. So when the aircraft flies, we can leverage the flight operation data, the flight maintenance data, put it back into the virtual twin for that specific aircraft. So in a nutshell, this is what we do in Dassault Systèmes, and why I believe we are very relevant in the world of aerospace and defense. But let's talk a little bit about AI applied in Dassault Systèmes to the world of aerospace and defense. First, we've been doing AI for quite a number of years, actually more than 20 years. If you look on the screen, on the bottom left part, you see some generative design or topology optimization, where essentially the designer is leveraging powerful AI-generated shapes according to your process of manufacturing. Whether this is milling, forging, casting, or 3D printing, you are not designing a part. The computer is designing that part for you. This is generative AI. We are also using computer vision on the manufacturing side. You are seeing here an example on different topics. And here the importance is to understand that what we are doing with computer vision is having a look at the reality of things and comparing it with the virtual twin. And for example, at Safran Aircraft Engine, we are using that technology to fully automate the quality control checks at the end of the LEAP engine final assembly line. And finally, it was mentioned this morning by our friends and colleagues and from Dassault Aviation, AI is also real, working today on the cloud for the fleet of Rafale. This was the Ravel contract that was mentioned this morning, where we are using AI to go into predictive maintenance, to look at weak signals in operation, and of course, based on a full cloud SaaS software stack. So we do it in design, we do it in manufacturing, we do it in operations, but we do it as well at the level of the enterprise for companies that, for example, try to reduce their procurement cost. We are helping them through AI recognition technologies to standardize on the number of standard parts, to reduce the number of standard parts they are producing in order to leverage cost optimization into the manufacturing domain. As Professor Johnson mentioned, we believe in AI because we do believe that first what needs to happen is to leverage data and transfer it from data to information on a specific workflow and into knowledge and know-how. On the right-hand side, you've got some examples where we leverage AI. The first one on the bottom right corner is how we use natural language processing, not only, of course, for some of the Dassault Aviation issues, looking through pilot reports to constitute a certain ontology of defects and issues, but we use that as well, for example, for Air France, to categorize the customer complaints. So this is transforming data into information, rebuilding the dictionary of your data. And then, of course, in order to make AI applicable, it's not about a single use case. You need to be working within the frame of your organization and your processes. So what you see as a second example is how we leverage access to data outside of our own Dassault Systèmes world, leveraging data coming from SAE International, where we take the full catalog of standard parts and include it into our workflow of the fasteners application, which is used at Airbus, at Boeing, at Dassault Aviation, in order to do fastening of the fuselage. And what it does, it not only takes the 3D shape, but it takes the full characteristics of this data, meaning the characteristic of the tension, the manufacturing material, in order to drive that manufacturing process and be much more precise on the manufacturing process. So again, leverage data into information, put information into knowledge, and at the top, you are seeing one example that we are working with actually more than 20 companies in the world of aerospace and defense in Europe, under the leadership of EASA, where we are including the principles and the requirements of certification directly into the 3D experience platform in order to work on a workflow that is related to the corpus of EASA certification. We are working toward model-based certification. It's a project that is called Concerto, and if you have time, please look on the web to get more information. So, artificial intelligence, number one, we've been doing that for quite some number of years. It's in operation today. I think one of the KPI I like about the Dassault Aviation Ravel story is that it improved during the first 2 years the availability of the fleet of Rafale by a factor of 9%, which is quite impressive. So where do we stand? We can say today that generative AI at a preliminary design stage, so at a concept design stage, not at a detailed design stage, from a mechanical design, generative AI is ready to deliver on a full generative aircraft. If you're looking at that panel behind me, you will recognize on the bottom left some simple AI-driven use case where we use generative AI and topology optimization to optimize shapes according to the process of manufacture. We do that on stress to solve for structural parts, but we do that as well to solve on CFD, for example, to design very specific fluid parts, HVAC systems, for example, where we want to avoid loss of pressure according to a special shape. So we do it at part level, but we also do it at multiple complex assembly levels, and we even do this at the level of the aircraft on a full panel, where here what you can see on the screen is multi-material application, AI-based applications to drive design of experiments and make sure that according to the specific ribs that you are using, the specific composite material that you will be using, you find the best optimized structure on a multi-thickness composite barrel to optimize the final structure of the aircraft. And if you are tying all of that down to visual scripting, that's the example that you see on the top right corner. From a mechanical design perspective, we are at a stage where generative AI can provide a generated aircraft at preliminary design level. So where do we go next? Of course, mechanical design is very interesting, but it's not the only thing that makes an airplane fly. There are a lot of different systems that make it fly. Our ambition at Dassault Systèmes is to drive generative AI capabilities to further develop generative capabilities in the fields of systems. Like, for example, generative wire harness, the famous electrical harnesses into an aircraft, but as well generative electronics or PCB design, for example, in the world of defense electronics. And when you connect the two disciplines, electrical and electronics, of course, you need to add a layer of software on top of that, and we want to work downward from the overall system engineering perspective or the MBSE perspective, model-based system engineering, which in our mind is the highest topological domain of the engineering domain, and we want to streamline the automation from that disciplines to all the detailed design disciplines. Not only mechanical design, but as well electrical wire harness, electronics, and software. And you've got some examples on the right of what I just mentioned. Leveraging AI, for example, to automatically place the components on a PCB design card or automatically generate some code associated to a specific system architecture. And then where we will go next. You heard Professor Johnson discussing about generative AI and our drive for the virtual twins. So we not only leverage model-based system engineering for virtual twins of the products, we do that for the virtual twins of the factories, the industrial system as well. But where we are going next is to be able to leverage the virtual twins and generative AI to define what you see on the bottom right corner, the virtual twin of operations of a specific product or even a set of products. Thank you very much for your attention. I look forward to a lot of the different questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's very impressive, and we are observing that things are advancing much in some places in France.